We just got some big Scream 6 news that might suggest Sidney Prescott not being in this film. Let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie? Amen.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing now.
Oh, Lord on the beast!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes death is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we're talking about Scream 6, a big old chunk of news coming from the Radio Silence guys, where they may have just given away that Sidney Prescott won't be in Scream 6. We're going to talk about all this in just a second here, but first I'm going to need y'all to like this video and subscribe if you're new here. I would greatly appreciate it. So, getting into this, we have a quote from Tyler Gillette, who was in a recent interview kind of talking about Scream 6, where he said this: "We can't tell you anything about Scream 6, come on." No, only kidding. What he did say, though, was, "Here's what I can say. One of the things that Guy Busick and Jamie Vanderbilt, the screenwriters, did so well in the script for Scream 5, and I think it's something that we hope to just carry on regardless of where this franchise goes, is those characters are such an integral part of the world of Scream." He continued with, "So whether they are there or not, they're there, right? You can't have a Scream movie without their influence, without this sense of what that legacy is." I will stop there before it gets too dangerous. Oh man, that last line is screaming maybe that Sidney Prescott will not be in this film, because it's kind of already been confirmed that Gale Weathers is going to be in the film. I mean, Courtney Cox said it herself that she's going to read the script. She said that like a month ago, so she's probably read the script, and I don't think that Guy Busick or James Vanderbilt would have sent her the script if she didn't have a role in it. That would be kind of whack and kind of a massive middle finger to Courtney Cox. So I don't think that's the case there. She's probably going to be in Scream 6 at this point, if I was a betting man. Is Sidney Prescott going to be in Scream 6? Is that going to be the case here? Well, here's my take on this. A lot of people, I think, would be disappointed if Sidney Prescott wasn't in the film, but what is Scream about at its core? Is it just another slasher franchise that is about a final girl being chased by a ghost-faced killer? No, I think it's much more than that. I think it's this awesome commentary on the slasher genre, and in itself is kind of something original and new. You can't really get what you get from a Scream film in Friday the 13th, in Nightmare on Elm Street, in Halloween. This is something entirely new on its own, and that's why it broke such ground and why it was such a huge hit in 1996 for commenting on the slasher genre, and why it got so stale in the mid-90s, because they were kind of just doing the same thing over and over and over again. My thing is, I think you can make a Scream film without Sidney Prescott, but at this point, you're going to turn away a big part of the fandom who really does come to these films for Sidney Prescott. I think originally when Scream 1996 came out, it was about the commentary on horror, and that's what made it so big, but as the sequels progressed, it became much more about Sidney Prescott and kind of sidelined the whole horror commentary thing, which is why I think I don't love Screams 2 and 3 as much as I do Screams 4 and 5. I do like the Sidney story, and I like how it wraps up in the end of Scream 3. Like I've said in the past, I think the third act of Scream 3 is incredibly underrated and one of the best parts of the entire franchise as a whole. I do love the Sidney story, and the twist with Roman is awesome and very well done in Screams 2 and 3, setting it up throughout those films. But I think the one thing that those films missed out on, and the one thing that I really missed about Screams 2 and 3, was they kind of sidelined the whole horror commentary thing. Yes, you have Randy in Scream 2 talking about how sequels have to up the body count. It's got to be bloodier this time around or people won't want to see it, and that's awesome. But the moment Randy dies, all that meta commentary is gone from that film, pretty much. And then we do have a brief scene in Scream 3 where we get Randy once again giving us some meta commentary, and it's great. But that's it. That's really it with the meta commentary in Screams 2 and 3. Scream 4 focuses a lot on the crappy remakes of the thousands and the early 2010s, and that's awesome. I think the commentary there is fantastic and very well done, and what's so interesting about Scream 4 is it's kind of like the shitty remake of Scream that nobody would want to see within a Scream film. It's genius. I love, Wes Craven really killed it with Scream 4, I think. It's really just an incredibly well done film, and I love how he comments on all those things. Like, if you think about it, the new characters in that film are all kind of represent a character from Scream 1996. And what the crappy remake of Scream would be in Wes Craven's mind was making Sidney Prescott the killer at the end of the film, because that's original and different. Just because something's different doesn't mean it's good. I'm gonna pitch that as well in this video, which might be counterintuitive with what I'm about to expose later on in this video, but it makes sense. And that's what he wanted to comment on with Scream 4, was that don't make a remake that's different just for the sake of being different, because like, it's kind of just a cash grab at that point. That's what Scream 4 is trying to say, and I love it. I love that film so much. It really comments on that perfectly, and then Scream 5 comments on much more than just horror fandom, but fandom in general. And I really like that Scream 5 kind of widened the scope of not just talking about horror movies, but commenting on movies in general. That's awesome. I really enjoyed what Scream 5 did as well. For me, Scream is much more about the horror commentary, and when it does that well, it does it well, and it kills it. I think in all 5 of the movies, there is always a moment where it comments on something specific in the horror genre very well. But moving forward with the franchise, I wanted to focus on that a little more, just like how Screams 4, 5, and the original did. So what you'd have to do that at this point is to kind of sideline the character of Sidney Prescott. Now, I don't want her to be completely gone from the film. That's kind of where I disagree with the Radio Silence guys here. I think if she's not in the movie at all and they just kind of reference her, I don't think that's feeling her presence. I really don't think so. I have to disagree with Radio Silence here. She has to be in the film, but don't make it all about her. Don't make her the focus of the film. You have to sideline her. That's the only option you can do to appease both sides of the fandom. Otherwise, you're going to really be upsetting the people who come to these movies for Sidney Prescott. Because like I said, over the years and as the movies progressed, that's kind of what they became. They became about Sidney Prescott in 2 and 3, and then in 4 and 5, it was a little less about them. So I think to compromise with both sides of the fandom here, you have to put a legacy character in the forefront, Gale Weathers, instead of Sidney Prescott. She has always been a character that, in my opinion, has been kind of sidelined and has never been the focal point of Scream. But what if we had Scream 6 be that focal point? That's original, that's different, and that's something that makes everyone in the fandom kind of happy. I would love to see that film, personally. I think Gale Weathers is a super underrated character who has maybe had the best arc of any of the characters going through Screams 1 through 5. I really love how much she has progressed as a character. She started as kind of like this crappy journalist that was going to do anything for a good story, and now she's become this just amazing human being who is super like kind and nice and not just all about the big scoop. I really like how her character progressed through all 5 of the films, and honestly, I would love to see a whole film that focuses on her. Maybe not one that kills her, because I don't think that would be purposeful. It was purposeful to kill Dewey. I've already talked about that in the past, but to see a film that focuses on Gale Weathers and something that has to do with her. Maybe the killer is someone from her past, that maybe she screwed over some other journalist in the past, and now that person has come back to start killing in Scream 6. I would love to see that happen. But you wouldn't be able to have Sidney Prescott be the focal point of the movie. So what do you guys think about that? Would you rather see a new Scream film focus on Sidney Prescott again, or would you rather her just not be in the film entirely? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Leave your argument there, because I'm kind of just working with the compromise route here, because I really just don't see another option for these people for the next film. I don't know what else they can do with Sidney's character. Thank you so much for watching this new update video on Scream 6. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, if you would like to support this channel further, you can become a channel member, and then you get this little cool icon next to your name during all my live streams, and a bunch of extra videos every single week. So make sure to check that out. Just click the little join page or support me on Patreon. It's the exact same thing wherever you want to do it. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.